Hello, everybody. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. You can see that she's smiling unhingedly again, which means it's time for another round of Eurovision PowerPoint Roulette.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are that Eurovision site, Eurovision with a slice of life, and we're going to be playing PowerPoint Roulette today. 15 slides, random topic, no idea what's happening. And my victims today are the lovely Daniel. Give us a wave.
Hello. I,
Um,
I have been trying to organize this for weeks. I don't know if a victim's appropriate.
and Angus.
Back by unpopular demand.
So, for those of you who haven't seen this before, like I said, 15 slides of a random PowerPoint. They'll pick one out of four PowerPoints that I have prepared with random images on them. They don't know what they're going to get. But also, we must first spin the wheel. And the wheel gives them a topic. Hopefully you all can see the wheel of names. Let us spin and see what Daniel, who is our first victim, gets. Okay.
This gives me flashbacks to GCSE Italian, but okay.
Okay, the topic is the Sanremo national final debate. Is it a national final or not?
Yes, obviously.
Thank you.
Well, you have to prove that with your slides. So hold on. Which number would you like? 1 to 4.
I will take the, and following on from what Shiloh said last time, poor capitalization here, but I will go with roulette number 4.
Roulette number 4. For those who are watching, I will cut the top bar off of this. So yes, it's my poor organizational skills. So
Shameful.
huh?
Also, roulette number 4 is
Shame. Yeah, it goes 1, 2, 4, 3.
All right. Just because my tabs aren't organized, I'm getting heckled here. I hope the slides are unkind to you. I've no idea what's on these. Right, are you ready?
Yes.
It's going to happen anyway.
Okay.
So, on the topic of the national final debate of Sanremo, you have 15 slides. Let's go, Daniel.
Okay. Welcome to my amazing presentation on why Sanremo is in fact a national final. What you have here is a car race. Now, just because this car race is in, say, pull a random track out of my head, Indianapolis, would they say that this isn't a car race because it's in Indianapolis? No, that would be stupid. It's a car race. Just because, it serves this purpose instead, it's still a car race because people race cars. And the winner is the winner of the race. Next slide, please. This is May Muller. She never had the opportunity to go through a national final. Look at how sad May Muller is. Ignore that she's actually happy. She's sad on the inside. Are you gonna say to May Muller that no? Who is it? Marco Mengoni didn't go through a national final. He went through something else? No, because Sanremo is a national final, a contest to determine who enters the Eurovision Song Contest for a country, and if the only way to be your Eurovision representative for that country is to go through this contest, it's a national final. Next slide, please. I feel like Chris Whitty. This is the mindset of someone who doesn't think Sanremo is a national final. Fenced off. Cannot see clearly. You know, a bad mindset to have. Do you know what else is bad? Urban highways. join the collective that believes Sanremo is a national final and that a good urbanization is a great thing for cities. Next slide, please. Those boots, do you know who they belong to? The Italian music industry. And you know what? The people who don't think that Sanremo is a national final, they are getting on those knees, just getting down comfortably, and they're starting to lick those boots clean. Because that is exactly what the Italian music industry want you to think. They think they are special. They think just because, ooh, this is a festival, they think they're somehow better than, say, ESCZ. But I tell you what, when has Sanremo ever had Adam Mashik? Never. Oh, but sure, you have Amadeus. He's a fun host. All national finals have fun hosts. We all remember that guy from Dora, right? You know, that one. I don't. The not funny thick comedian. They're not going to say that that's not a national final because they have an unfunny comedian. It's a national final. And there's a tie there because Sanremo ties in to the Eurovision Song Contest as one of its many national finals. Next slide, please. Oh, look, it's Mahmood. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mahmood is from Italy and regularly enters Sanremo. But this often earns him allegations of being jobless and needs to get a job and should go away. But look how that makes him feel. And what is a national final if not for a vehicle for people in the respective countries' music industries to continue, sometimes unwantedly, to enter these contests? Mariette. So, it's clearly a national final. And look how hurt he is by all these comments. It hurts to be alive. You know what else hurts? The feelings of the people who say that Sanremo is not a national final because they know deep down they are wrong. Next slide, please. Now, I'm not a pharmacist, but I've taken some medication in my time. I'd say
Is that what you say with your background check when they ask you about?
Okay, legally, you're not allowed to ask that. All charges were dropped, okay? But I actually know what this medication is. If you look ever so closely, it says copium. And that is the prescription that gets handed out every week, once a day at 5 p.m. They need to take it for the people who don't think Sanremo is a national final. Because, let's face it, it looks like a national final, and it quacks like a national final. It's probably a fucking national final. So, maybe instead of taking these pills, you could take something else. Maybe something more fun and enjoy the national final presented to you. Next slide, please. Now, this is a message in a bottle, and that is a song by Taylor Swift, as we all know. And Sanremo might think that they can pull stars, not like Taylor Swift, but like 50% as famous, into their show. So it's surely a standalone show because we got John Travolta to ass around like a chicken for a few minutes. National final. It just is. If Una Voce can pull in like West End stars and be Una Voce, which is barely even a national final, but on the opposite end, where it's basically a school production, you can call yourself a national final. It's not a mean word. But maybe inside this bottle is like the secret scriptures and the rules that say this technically isn't a national final because one time, like 7-8 years ago, some guy said no to going to Eurovision, so it's not a national final. But it is, because every time since they've sent the guy that won the competition did the Eurovision Song Contest. So it's starting to feel like to me that the winner of the show gets to go to Eurovision. And do you know what that sounds like? A national final. God, this is so easy. Why are you complaining? Next slide, please. That is a camera of some sort next to a computer. Do you know what people use computers for? So maybe around the first few months of the year to watch simultaneously lots of national final shows from around Europe. And if I go onto one of these sites, the legality of which probably questionable, but we all use them anyway to view all of these national finals simultaneously. Do you know what's on there? Sanremo! Because, and I feel you're never going to guess what I'm going to say here. It's a national final. What? And in this camera, it's pointing towards the camera that's used to take this picture. But so it'll be so eloquent to capture the feeling of just sadness and soullessness inside of the people who claim that Sanremo is not a national final. Because deep down, just deep down, they know they are wrong. And that Sanremo is a national final. And they do not believe in the very thing that they've made their identity on Twitter.com for many years. And that just makes them feel empty and soulless. What have I been doing for all these years? Could I have not channeled this energy into something completely different? Where would my life be if I did do this? Next slide, please. Do you know who randomly showed up one day in Sanremo? Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That was weird, wasn't it?
How did I know that was what you were going to say immediately when I saw this?
Okay, but let's talk about another Italian competition. Say, Serie A. Or maybe the Coppa Italia. Say the Coppa Italia, it's a cup competition where the winner gets a place in the European stages. Italian football fans would never argue that the Coppa Italia isn't a cup competition, or isn't a qualifier to get into a European competition because it's primarily a cup competition. It's a cup competition. Yes, no one's denying that. But it is also a qualification to get into the European stages, much like Sanremo is a qualification to get into a European music competition, because the winner of Sanremo gets to go to the European music competition. And what's the problem with being both? Loads of things. I'm here with two bisexuals. They love both.
Yep.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
And national finals, they don't have to be a bad thing. Look at Festival de Canchel. That's fun. They don't say just because festival is in the name, it's not a national final. Neither do merely festival. And of course, festivals can be national finals. Next slide, please. Now, this is a cute cat. And there is often a fable talk about the cat distribution system, where cats, they're sent by whichever deity or cat controller to find their owner. And if you love this cat, and if you want this cat, there's only one thing you have to do, and that is accept Sanremo as a national final, because this cat will only visit those who believe that Sanremo is a national final. And why wouldn't you want this cat? It's so cute. You just really want to scratch behind the ears there. It's so cute. It'll probably make such a cute face when you do that. But if you say Sanremo, it's not a national final. Have fun being catless. And I'm not saying that if you am I saying that if you say that Sanremo is not a national final, you hate cats? Yes. Because this cat does not believe it, but this cat believes rightly that Sanremo is a national final, and I would sooner die than disagree with a cat that cute. Next slide, please. That's just lovely. Lovely. Now, that feels Dutch. Is that Dutch?
Passing to Dutch
It
correspondent.
it could be,
It
but
could. It could be.
it
And you
could
know,
be. It could actually be Northwest Germany instead, but that's pretty much the same thing. It's all Frisian.
pretty much the same thing, you say. Just like how Sanremo is pretty much the same thing as our national finals. But let's go back to this lighthouse with a very photogenic animal in front of it. That animal is not allowed on the Eurovision stage because of rules for some reason. That sucks. Do you know what we also don't see animals in? Sanremo. Probably because, apart from Ghali's thing, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah, I mean, there were birdies. There were chickens, giant chickens.
Yeah, chickens are different. Do you trust chickens?
News just in: chickens are not animals.
Do you trust chickens? How do you know they are real chickens and not just government drones? We know birds aren't real, right? This is
Not government drones.
It is very common knowledge that all birds are sent by the government to spy on people. And why would Sanremo want to spy on you? To make sure that you're not spreading the truth that they don't want you to know about, that Sanremo is a national final.
They're being
Maybe.
assisted by the Belgian deep state.
Yes, they are. Next slide, please. This is a nice, really nice bedroom with some flowers on the side. Do you know what you get for like winning Sanremo or whatever? Flowers. Maybe this is the hotel room of Angelina Mango after she won Sanremo. Do you know what she did after sleeping in this bed the night that she won Sanremo? And then woke up the next morning, she said, I'm going to go to Eurovision. I've been invited and I'm saying yes. Do you know why she was invited to Eurovision, guys?
Please.
Because she won Sanremo. That sounds awfully like a national final system. Wow. Next slide, please. Okay. Do you know what you see here? It's the logo of Melody Grand Prix, a national final. And I'll go through.
Angus?
Have you heard some of the songs from there? We can't really call it a song contest, can we?
Yes, we can. Because sort of one of the big parts of being most national finals across Europe is being hated by Angus. Like MGP is, like the male portion of Sanremo is. I'm sure Angus would love to just be really annoying about, oh, there's this really artsy Italian festival that no one knows about. But he doesn't, because it's a national final. So that means he hates it. Because that's the rules. And we'll look at some of the people who came through Melody Grand Prix. Alessandra Milli. She's half Italian. Or she's half Italian because she grew up there. She entered and won MGP, and if you believe her TikTok captions, which I fucking don't, it says that she submitted her song Marameo to Sanremo. And sure, she's definitely doing this for publicity and did not actually submit the song to Sanremo, but sounds like a national final to me. I mean, she's basically Eurovision sphere now, so everything she touches is a national final. Makes sense, doesn't it? Next slide, please. Now, this is a beautiful church. Do you know what one country is particularly known for having some great churches, some beautiful tributes to the Christian faith? Italy. And they would never want to worship, say, a false god because of their strong Christian virtues. They've been told, like, don't take like this slander of our people. Don't worship any false idols. Amadeus, anyone? He's just a guy. He's basically Italian Stig Karlsen. And
Italian Stig Karlsen. Can we just have a moment? Just a moment for Italian Stig Karlsen.
And Stig Karlsen, I'm sure he would love to, but to claim that MGP is its own independent song festival. Ooh, look, we can send songs out before they get released at MGP. We'll definitely utilize that feature. Even Stig Karlsen, the Norwegian one, wouldn't argue that the song contest he presides over is independent of a Eurovision, because it's not. And do you know what you often hear in a church? Hymns, prayer music. Do you know what is a very popular like hymn? Te Deum, the Eurovision anthem, as it's been known. Do you know what plays before the last night of Sanremo? The Eurovision anthem. Why would they do that if it wasn't a national final? It seems to me like that's concrete proof that it's a national final. Also, those floor pans look like ones I had in my bathroom once. That's fun. Next slide, please. This is Paul Ray, I think.
Yes.
He has many a times entered a national final. Some of his songs might even be memorable. This is him reacting in 2023 to losing to Loreen. He actually tweeted around the time that he wanted to lose because Loreen's song was that good and he wanted to see Sweden do really well at Eurovision. It worked. Do you know what something Melody Festivalen does, which is quite different to quite a few others like national finals that say, here's 40 songs, go stream them all? They do something sort of special with the releases that you can't like stream them until after you've heard them in the contest. Now, are there any other national finals that do this? Yes! Sanremo! And let's just talk about Sanremo some more. Even Benidorm, they're not even alone anymore in saying, ooh, it is a festival that always takes place in this city. Benidorm Fest! That was from like the 1960s too. Julio Iglesias won Benidorm Fest. I mean, not this year, but like back in the day. And maybe he's not reacting to his 1 point. Maybe the only 1 point he wants to make is that Sanremo is a national final. Because he knows, I'm sure he watched Sanremo. I bet he was a really big fan of Ariette, who I am not only saying because she's the only one from that year I can remember. And he is looking at you in shock. That, oh my god, you don't think it's a national final? But the real person to look at in this image is behind him, to the right. The one with the lanyard. He looks quite important, doesn't he? He's got a lanyard. That means you're important. And Sanremo say we can't be a national final. No, we only have like important people here. He's important. He's got a lanyard. So, next slide, please. Fin. Do you know what has fins? Sharks. And do you know where sharks live? The ocean. Do you know what else lives in the ocean? Manatees. Do you know what's a manatee? Rich, or whatever his name was. Garley's manatee that joined him on stage for his performances throughout Sanremo week, as he put in a very good showing, as I think he top cut that national final. And you know what? Circling back into MGP, they had a gold final once that didn't really do anything either. They're like 2 feet in the pod. Maybe there really is an Italian Stig Karlsen. Thank you very much for listening to my brilliant and correct opinions about why Sanremo is in fact a national final. Please clap.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we got there via urban planning and uh,
There were some diversions.
the Italian Stig Karlsen. I'm not gonna be over that for a little while. I'm not gonna be over that for a little while. You are certainly gonna get some imaginary internet points for all of this.
If you haven't guessed, that was my real opinion.
Oh, that was your real opinion. What a surprise. See, you could have gone the hard way and argued against it, but no, you
because there's
took
no
the
good
easy route out.
arguments.
You took the easy route out.
Sanremo is more a national final than Una Voce is.
Yeah.
No, for your round, why you not? No.
Sure, go ahead.
So now we are on to our second victim. Thank you, Angus, for joining us again for more shenanigans. This is your second PowerPoint roulette. How are you feeling?
I just love to talk nonsense.
And nonsense you shall talk. Cool. Let us spin the wheel and see what you come up with. Are we ready?
Never, but go ahead.
Everybody just hoping they don't get.
It is the Univoce one.
It's not actually. This is why ballads should be banned at Eurovision.
I need to argue that ballads should be banned.
Yes, you should. Yep, that's what you need to argue.
Okay.
Just for the sake of balance, I do have another one on the wheel, which I won't say which it is, which is the opposite. But
Okay, yes.
So the randomness of the wheel brings us all. Which number would you like, Angus?
Let's go number 1.
Number 1? Okay, PowerPoint Roulette number 1. So, 15 slides on.
The only other non-capitalized one.
All right. I'm just getting dissed here for my organisational skills. Honestly, these victims ain't what they used to be, honestly. Right, so 15 slides on why ballads should be banned at Eurovision from Angus. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are on the hellscape that is the Eurovision fandom. Today I will be talking about a topic that is near and dear to especially EBU's heart when we look at their world changes. It is that ballads should be banned from the contest. Let's get into this with the first slide, shall we? So, a contest. It's exciting, it's tense, it's energetic. All words that do not fit a ballad. We want excitement, we want... Excuse me?
Debatable.
We want power, we want excitement, we want... we want to be energized. We want to have a good time when watching the contest. And, for that, you need your club bangers, you need your rock tracks, but like a sad emotional ballad, bringing out the tissue like you're like a Victorian woman waving out her husband when he's going out to sea. Come on now. Like, you're not doing that.
Objection, all Victorian women were lesbians.
Okay. Waving out their unmarried wives. Next slide, please. Consider Sanremo.
I already did that.
Well, let's consider it some more. Because what are easily the worst songs at Sanremo? They're the bog standard, boring ballads sung by incompetent Italian men that should not be heard, and frankly, some of them shouldn't even be seen. And it's just, what are we doing here? The fun parts of Sanremo are always that they're more energetic songs, or and don't get me wrong, like a club band can still be emotional, for example, or like a rock song, but the good songs there are not the ballads. The ballads are just they're the moments you go away to pee, or you go have a nap, or whatever. I'm like, we don't need that during the contest. That's like what the intervals are for. That's what you have some other bits and bobs for. You don't want people to miss out on entire performances just because they're bored. And that is what we have now. I mean, look, I know it got votes somehow, but how many people actually heard the song Hollow from Dons this year, and how many people just voted for it because it's the one song that they were surprised by during the recap? Because like, oh, I don't remember this. Let's vote for it. Next slide, please. It is very important to make yourself heard at Eurovision as an artist. And how many artists nowadays, especially, have their first big hit be a ballad? Look, I know we had the 80s and 90s crooners and we had like a little revival of that here and there, but overall, your first big hit, and that is what you need to be, what you need to bring to Eurovision to be successful. You need that song that would be your breakout hit if it was just played randomly on the radio. And the ballad is not going to do that. That's not going to grab your attention. You need to be loud, you need to be proud, you need to be cocking around. And
I was wondering when you'd address the chicken.
The chicken in the room.
Yeah, you just started talking and just not about the chicken.
Well, that's what I was trying to sort of like, but I'm not going to like cock-a-doodle-doo, like, oh, we're trying to do the Dutch. Look, we don't need, like, consider the Dutch musical experts. I know, oh, people love the Dutch country sound and the Dutch ballads at Eurovision. Yeah, but outside of Eurovision, it's just Dutch DJs. It's Dutch DJs as far as the eye can see. It's
Tell that to my Spotify rating. All I'm saying.
it's just all Dutch DJs and pop girlies, and that's what you're gonna get, and that's what you're gonna have to work with. Um, and for good reason. Like that's music that really pumps you up and that can in that short 3 minutes that you have really make an impact and just improve the contest on the night itself. And that is what we want to look for in Eurovision. Next slide, please. Ballads are often very emotionally painful, and especially Spanish ballads. I mean, they've had some stinkers over the years. I think we can be that direct. But the Spanish music industry, like their party stuff and everything, and their pop stuff, that really breaks through. It's really fun. And again, I know I've been really hammering on the bangers and the party stuff, but consider also like Terra by Tanchugueras. That's not a ballad,
There
but
we go.
it's amazing. And they could have said that. They can send that band in any year. Let's be real. Just have them as a break.
Grab your popcorn, folks. It's going to be a long one.
Better than grabbing your towels, I
Yeah.
suppose.
The thing is also that what we shouldn't forget about ballads is for some people a ballad can work, but it's a crapshoot. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes Spain does great at Eurovision, sometimes they shit the bed and come last in the most hilarious way possible. And that's how ballads work. Like either you get a very specific ballad and connects with you or it doesn't. And that ends up being a bad time for everyone because not enough people are going to enjoy the ballad and vote for it. Vice versa. So, the people that didn't like the ballad are annoyed that it's there in the first place. And the people that did like the ballad are going to be all disappointed, like, oh no, my faith was robbed. How dare they? When they were like clearly better and more interesting songs in the contest. Which is something that Benidorm has been struggling with because it's always like, oh, what's the interesting song? And people keep fighting about it, and then we get something random seemingly to win the damn thing. Next slide, please. Ballads can also be very cheesy. I think that's a very simple fact of life. I think we can all agree that ballads are the cheesiest form of music. And there's nothing wrong with being cheesy. Again, I'm Dutch, I should know. But it has its time and its place. And if you want something cheesy or schmaltzy or any other like dairy related adjective, I want that during Christmas time. Eurovision famously is not held during Christmas time. It's held during May. In May, you're not going to eat a cheese platter. It's getting too warm over here. And in Australia, like Australia hasn't invented cheese yet. Like they're still fighting the emu wars over there. Don't worry about what they're up to. So over here in Europe, you're not going to have cheese around that period of time. Like it's already too late to have a cheese fondue. Like it will upset your stomach if you eat it that late in the year. So likewise, we do not want cheese in Eurovision. We can have our cringe. We can have our laughs. We can have our God knows whats. But cheese is not necessary. We do not need it. Next slide, please.
No, no, but before you move on, why is there a strawberry on the cheese platter? That does
Flavor
not belong.
flavor profiles and contrast is like why you also have a mango chutney sometimes on a cheese platter. It's all about the flavor profiles and contrast. I can talk about this for even longer than talking about banning ballads or tantragera, so be warned.
It just feels wrong.
I will eat any and all strawberries. Anyway,
Look at this adorable basket of kittens. You know
She's
what
not in a
kittens
basket.
don't enjoy? Fuck's sake. But you know what kittens don't enjoy? And including our very own kittens? Ballads. Kittens is not our, Benjamin Ingrosso correspondent because she loves ballads. Like that's not the reason why. The reason why is he writes bangers and bops. Ballads cannot be bangers and bops. That's just a definitional thing. They can be vibes, but vibes do not translate well through minutes, especially because for the next song and the song before it, you have complete vibe shifts again. So it can never really connect. And yeah, we should just make the kittens happy, I think. We should make the kittens happy and have just some fun music. And, then we can just let them run around because God knows what the kittens want to do. They probably want to, well, except the one in the back who clearly wants a nap. The rest clearly are planning some kind of mischief, as our kittens usually also is, including this series. Next slide, please. A lot of people, as soon as they hear a ballad, they go, ugh. They turn off, they go to the bathroom, they God knows what. It's literally why we had the entire stuff happening with countries getting zero or almost no televotes in the final and the entire voting change system that people seem to be overall pretty happy with. That we now have a televote only semifinals. People are happier with the result, with the kinds of songs that are getting to the final and the entire process. But people,
Name one.
there are
Kittens.
people. There are always people who are unhappy on the internet. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying with under the new system, Ranella would have qualified.
Yes.
I don't have to defend the new system, thank God. My point just being that, yeah, a lot of people just don't connect with ballads. And again, like as I already said, that just reduces the entire impact and just enjoyment of the contest for many people. The more people dislike it, the more the less well regarded the contest is. Also consider a lot of ballads they just don't have great staging potential. And were the discussions about, who the hell is Edgar and the staging of that song? Sure. Was it still pretty engaging staging? Yes. It was more engaging than pretty much any ballad stage that year, or I can't recall any ballad stagings, except like Serbia 2019, and that's a borderline rock song. That hardly counts as a ballad at this point. So, that's one thing. Like we need good staging at Eurovision. It's Eurovision, not Euro audio. Next slide, please. Ah, humble, beautiful flowers. You know what loves to be staged with flowers, uplifting ballads. You know what does terrible at Eurovision and usually is very boring to listen to? An uplifting ballad. They should be left in the national finals where they belong, where they can hype up, an artist from yesteryear that can't dance around anymore and just wants to stand in front of a microphone to, milk out a few more gigs before she has to retire. But that's for that. In the meantime, we can have bangers. We can
That
leave the beautiful flowers for the rest of the seasons, but we do not need them at Eurovision.
that did seem oddly specific. Like you had somebody in mind specifically.
I'm not going to name names.
Name names. Go on.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
I was first thinking of Natalia Barbu staging this year. That horrendous butterfly flower nonsense that made no sense whatsoever with anything or anyone. On that note, maybe it's time we should try to forget about that once more because it's upsetting and go to the next slide as well. Melody Festivalen. Now, do I have my problems with the Swedes? Yes, God, yes. You know what is one thing that I do agree with the Swedes with? Swedish ballads suck ass. Has there ever been a good Swedish ballad?
And he's off.
Even for the people, I would just keep talking. For the people here that know that, Grutan, Oye Pandelius, best song of all time, not a ballad, a chanson. Different. Learn your music. It's different. Ballads, we don't need to. Oh God, they're all so bland. Like, oh yeah, of course he's running off his Clara Klingstrom's territory. Yeah, no,
And Min Melody.
and just has there ever been an actual good ballad in Melody Festivalen? At least since the change in when they did do the massive overhaul 2011 or whatever. And look, there are plenty of reasons to complain about Melody Festival and all that, but they know what makes it entertaining 3-minute experience that people will be tuning in for. There's a reason that more people in Sweden watch Melody Festival than people that watch Eurovision. Should we wait for Daniel or shall we go to the next slide?
Is Daniel coming back?
There he is.
Coming back. Hey.
I figured I'd wait until the end.
Perfect. Why?
It's pasta.
Thank you, Mr. Audio Description. It is indeed pasta. And the thing is, pasta needs some time to cook. It needs some time to soften up and be really digestible and then be enjoyable. Then you can make some amazing meals out of it. The same is often true for a ballad. You need some time to ruminate on the lyrics. You want to stew in the emotions a bit. A good ballad is 5 minutes or longer. Just ask Bonnie Tyler. Actually, yes, let's ask Bonnie Tyler because, she had some amazing hits. What was her Eurovision song and performance like again? Exactly.
I was 9.
All right. You have to dig it in.
We're on a call with a literal child. But, so a ballad needs some time to really sit with you. We don't have time for that in Eurovision. It's song, 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 song. In the final, we have 26 songs we need to get through. You don't have time to sit on a song and think about it. The song needs to have immediate impact. And sure, you can hit yourself with some penne and it hurts, but it's not a good pain. It's not fun. You want if you want to have the most enjoyable penne rigata experience, you cook them for a while. You make a nice sauce with it. Then it's 3 hours later. You can finally have dinner. And then people wonder why Sanremo takes until 2 a.m. at the earliest to end. It's because that shit takes time. You cannot rush that. And in the Eurovision Song Contest, we're in a bit of a rush.
So it takes you 4 hours to cook pasta?
Well, bolognese takes at least 3 hours to simmer. Give it 20 minutes of prep time before that as well. Similar sauces do exist.
Also, I was 10 for Bonnie Tyler, not 9.
Oh, that makes all
that's
the
all right,
difference. Then. Yeah.
Next slide, please. Look at all these mostly happy people. You know who the two most miserable people at this table are? Daniel, noted ballad lover, and Rory, who's terrible music taste, but the one good thing he has going for him is that he does like Festival da Canção, but he only loves that for non-ballads, which is...
But Go on full of ballads.
Exactly. But that's because it's its own thing. Unlike the Portuguese grandmother get like 5 hours time to, walk through their phone, vote via the landline, walk back again. Then they need to vote again because the landline is messed up, and we have like 3 voting sessions just to figure out who, qualified from the semi-final. So we have the time to ruminate on that, as I said. Whereas, look, these people, for the most part, are very happy sitting at this, like, basically a fast food place, having some quick meals that are filling and rewarding in their own right. And that is what we should want and expect at Eurovision. Next slide, please. Exactly, because not everyone speaks English, and a lot of ballads are not in English. You don't speak the language, and that means a lot of the lyrical impact is missing because a ballad really depends on the lyrics. But if you want to build bridges across Europe, if you want to be building bridges, if you want to connect people, we need to have more energetic banging songs. That doesn't mean that they can't have deep lyrics or anything, but you first draw the people in with the fun, with the energy, with the bopping and the banging, and then they can always then talk about it later. Oh wow, did you know that the song is actually very deep and about this or that societal issue, or it's actually a very sad and moving breakup song? But before you knew that, you already enjoyed the song because the music was just that good. And that is how you build bridges, even if you and the person you're talking to can't actually communicate via verbal language because you don't speak the same language. You can still dance to the same song and have a great time at a party. Next slide, please. Consider also, how many times do you hear a ballad at a gym? The place where most people listen to the music nowadays, I'm pretty sure. Like, either just the gym PA system, or because you listen to your own Spotify. Other streaming services exist. Playlist. You don't listen to a ballad. You might listen to like a Nightcore ballad remix, but that's then already something completely different. That's something completely different. Instead, you'll be hearing some proper bangers in the gym, and for good reason. They're bangers. They're fun. They're great. They pump you up. They inspire you to be better and do better and work out more.
To be good, do good, look good.
Exactly. Next slide, please. Even at beach parties, you don't listen to ballads. You listen to bangers. Like, that's what beach parties are all for. If you're that sad soul that needs to listen to ballads all the time because they want to cry, fine, but go to the trees in the back there.
Daniel's just having a beach crying party. We just all sit on the beach and have a cry.
You're telling me you wouldn't come to that?
Go cry in the sea that no one can tell that what you're shedding are tears. Have you considered that? It's like an upgraded version of Crying in the Rain. Also a song that should not be in Eurovision, also because it's literally not allowed, but that's beside the point. Next slide, please. Moldova is such fun when they don't send in ballads. And when they do send in a ballad, the collective reaction from all of us is, huh? Like, where did the fun go? What is this supposed to be? And that's true for many countries that send in ballads. We're suddenly like, why are you sending this? What, like, where was all the fun, happy times? And then they come back with something fun and we reward them again. We need more fun, happy, or just energetic, or even angry songs. I don't care. But like, ballads are so overdone, so cliche, and we just end up looking at them confused. And that's a shame. Next slide, which I believe
Leona
should
Moon,
be
they
the
could
end.
never make me hate you.
And that is the end. I think I've pretty conclusively proven that the EBU's top priority should be banning ballads in Eurovision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Angus. Thank you, Angus. That is a top tier review of why we should have no ballads. Somehow involving pasta and a basket of kittens.
Yes.
And definitely points for not making the obvious references when given a picture of a rooster. A large rooster. Anyway, that is all we've got time for. I will be grading your homework. But if you
Please note that I was being devil's advocate here. Ballads should definitely be allowed in Eurovision. They're usually my favorites.
Yes, I should have asked you. I forgot. But yes, please do let us know in the comments who you think won this round of PowerPoint Roulette. There is no winning. We're just all having a good time. Please do let us know. I can see Daniel preparing the comment where he thinks he won already. All right. You know, I hope you've enjoyed this round of PowerPoint Roulette. I will probably be back with more unhinged PowerPoint Rouletting at some point, so please like, subscribe to the channel, and please do let us know what you think. We have been that Eurovision site. Please do follow us on every social media network known to man.
Except LinkedIn. We don't do LinkedIn.
Yet. And obviously also that Eurovision podcast on your favorite podcast services. I've been Kittens with bye from Angus and bye from Daniel. We'll have a lovely day. See you all soon. Bye.
Goodbye.